old are dinosaurs? Can we know? Were they roaming the earth millions of years before man, or did they coexist with man? Ken Ham, a former science teacher who now heads up the organization Answers in Genesis, explains.
People don't think about the fact that creationists and evolutionists all have the same evidence. We have the same fossils, the same animals, the same plants, the same dinosaurs, the same world. In fact, I always say to evolutionists, everything you observe I agree with. And I agree with your science. I agree with natural selection and mutations. You know what the difference is? The difference is not the evidence. The difference is the history you believe to interpret the evidence, to put it in an overall context. Now, there's lots of information like that that we can share with people to show them the Bible explains dinosaurs. And we know what happened to them. They died. But lots of animals have died. What's the mystery? It's only a mystery if you believe in millions of years. And by the way, did you know up in Alaska there's a deposit of bones on the North Slope of Alaska that are dinosaur bones that have not fossilized? Even evolutionists are puzzled by this. How could they have lasted for 65 million years and not fossilized? Even if they'd been frozen up there, and they are frozen, evolutionists don't believe they were frozen for 65 million years. You can hold them in your hand and throw them up and down. They're very light. I think that erases 65 million years of history. In Montana, scientists, secular scientists, looked in a T-Rex bone, and part of it was unfossilized, and they found and confirmed, and we have the photographs of them actually, red blood cells. Those bones could not be millions of years old, not at all. Red blood cells wouldn't last that long. No, there's a lot of evidence like that that just flies in the face of the millions of years. And again, it's the Bible that explains what happens to the dinosaurs.
Biologist James Hall explains what he discovered.
In 1989, we were invited by a homeowner out in Colorado who said that he had a dinosaur on his property, and what we found was literally amazing. It went against everything that I was taught in the textbooks. All the labs put them into 6,500 to 7,000 years when you put the correction on them, which verifies Scripture, which says that humans and dinosaurs and everything that you see living, we're all here together. So the earth is not billions and billions of years.
Now, when you start with biblical history, you can make sense of dinosaurs. They lived beside people. They got on Noah's Ark. They came off Noah's Ark. They've died out since, like lots of animals. There's really no mystery. Extinction is the rule on this earth because sin and the curse has affected the world.
But the results go against the secular scientific teaching that dinosaurs are millions and millions of years and never coexisted with humans. Of course, Scripture says that dinosaurs and humans were here together.
In Utah and other places in the world, you see paintings and carvings done by indigenous people that look like dinosaurs. Even evolutionists admit that. It's fascinating information. Even a painting of a flying creature that looks like a pterodactyl in Black Dragon Canyon in Utah, where you find bones of pterodactyls. And they even have this creature with a crest on its head like a pterodactyl. You find dragon legends all over the world.
I found dinosaur footprints alongside of human footprints, and together in the same age rock, and they were only, maybe 10 or 12 inches apart. And I began to see those repeated. And then I began to see some artifacts found in those same layers. For example, we found an iron hammer that was embedded in this dinosaur age rock.
And some of the old history book descriptions fit descriptions of dinosaurs. Interestingly, in the Bible, dragons are mentioned a number of times. The Hebrew word for dragon in the Old Testament, if you replace it in most instances with dinosaur, it fits quite nicely. So the word dinosaur is a modern word. It wasn't invented till 1841. People often say to me, well, the word dinosaur is not in the Bible. And I say, well, the word email is not in the Bible either. In the book of Job, chapter 40, verse 15, it talks about behemoth, the largest land animal God made. It says in verse 19, the chief of the ways of God, the largest land animal he made. The description of it is of an enormous beast and has an enormous tail like a cedar. Now, some Bible commentaries say it was an elephant or a hippopotamus. Well, I've never seen an elephant or a hippopotamus have a tail like a cedar. I've spent all day at zoos getting photographs of rear ends of elephants and hippopotami just to compare them. And the hippopotamus has a little flap of skin, and the elephant has a little reed hanging down there behind. And we think that's a cedar? Not at all. I think that description is a description of a dinosaur.
The truth is, fossil evidence shows dinosaurs are only about 6,000 years old and lived at the same time as man.